Okay, so the lesson, the plan I had for today is to teach the present tense. Okay, perfect. So the plan is for today to teach the present tense in Arabic conjugation for all the pronouns, for the healthy verb, hollow verb, assimilated verb, and a defective verb. So the first things I want to talk about the present tense in Arabic. So first the verb. The verb, it's a word describe actions, whether it's in English in Arabic. So الفعل المضارع presented in Arabic language actually serve for the present tense, the simple present in English and the present continuous function for both of these tenses. We do not have infinitive form in Arabic. We use instead the third person pronoun for he is, the past tense form for he is in Arabic as the verb because it's the easiest form to use to conjugate verb and convert different tenses. For example, the infinitive for verb to write in English, it's verb to write. In Arabic, the infinitive, we don't have such things called infinitive. We use the third person pronoun past tense. So kataba, it's the infinitive, is the infinitive form. So we take kataba and we make changes in kataba to create the past tense, the present tense, or the future tense, or the command, or the same tense for different subjects. So we are going to use the base form kataba, laiba, shariba. So بالفعل المضارع to create present tense in Arabic, we use some prefixes and suffixes to indicate to the tense and to the intended subject. Can you hear me, Paula, since you are the only one in this live so far? Okay, so let's first do, okay, great. So let's do the pronouns. First, we are going to start with the first person pronoun. With the first person pronoun, we have ana, and ana is the pronoun I. And we have nahnu, and nahnu is the first person pronoun for we. Then we move to the second person pronoun. This is the first person. And then we move to the second person. And we have anta. It's you for singular masculine. Anti is you feminine. And then we have antuma for both you, dual. Dual in Arabic refers to two male or two female. So dual masculine or dual feminine is the same pronoun. Okay. And then we have antum. Antum, it's you for three and more masculine, for the plural masculine. And then we have antunna. And it's you for three and more or plural pronoun for feminine. So first person pronoun, we have ana, nahnu, ana and nahnu. Ana, it's a neutral pronoun, refers to singular male or singular female. Nahnu, we, refers to two and more male or female, the first person pronoun. Then we move to the second person pronoun. We have anta, it's for you singular masculine. You are Ahmad. Anti for you singular feminine. Anti Maysoon, you are Maysoon. And by the way, I forgot to introduce myself. أنا ميسون, أنا اسمي ميسون, وأنا أستاذة اللغة العربية. Nothing worked well today. So antuma, it's you for dual masculine or dual feminine. It's the same pronoun. Antuma taliban or antuma talibatan. Antum for you three and more masculine. Antum tullab, antum asatida. Wa antunna is for you three and more feminine. Antunna ustadat, antunna talibat. And the third and the final group, we have the third person pronoun. The third person pronoun. So anta, it's in the second person pronoun. In the third person pronoun, we have huwa, and huwa, it means he. Huwa talib, he is a student. We have hiya, it's the pronoun for she, which refers to singular feminine in the third person pronoun. We call them also absent pronoun. And we have huma. I'm going to write huma here twice because when it comes to the conjugation, huma for male prefix is different from huma for female prefix. So huma, it's they are for dual masculine. And huma, the second huma, it's they are for dual feminine. They are the same pronoun. There is a little difference. So that's why I'm mentioning here both of them, huma, huma. And then we have hum. Hum, it's they are for three and more masculine. Hum asatida, hum tullab. And for feminine, we have hunna. Hunna, they are for three and more feminine. These are all the subject pronouns in Arabic. Again, we have first person pronoun, ana nahnu, second person pronoun, anta, anti, antuma for two male and female, antum for three and more male, antunna for three more female. And then we have the third person pronoun, we have huwa, he is for singular masculine, hiya, she is for singular feminine, they are two male. And then we have hum for, and then hunna for more feminine. Okay, are we good? I need to clean the board a little bit to make a space for present tense lesson. And then I'm going to rewrite them again just in vertical line to be easy to write next to them. أنا نحن أنت أنت أنتما أنتم أنتن هو ما هم. These are for the masculine. And then hiya, huma, and hunna. And these are for the feminine. Okay. But to present tense for any of these subjects, we need a certain prefix or suffix. So here we are going to write the prefix. All present tense has prefixes in Arabic, but not all the verbs has a suffix. So some pronouns, all the pronouns have prefix, but not all of them have a suffix. Need to close. Okay, so for ana, so I'm going to start with ana, which ana means I. For ana, we have a prefix hamza. I'm not going to put any short vowel on hamza. I'm not going to say fatha, a, or u, or e, because the sound of the hamza changes. But the sound of the hamza changes based on which form. Is it form 1 or it's form 3? So ana has a prefix, doesn't have a suffix. So I'm going to put s where we don't add a suffix. Ana hamza. For nahnu, we add noon as a prefix. There is no suffix with nahnu. With anta, we have the prefix ta. We have no suffix. For anti, we have the prefix ta, and we have the suffix ina. So, ana, hamza, nahnu, na, anta, ta, all these are prefixes, no suffixes. Anti has a prefix ta and has the suffix ina. For antuma, we have the prefix ta, and then we have the suffix alif wa noon, which refers to two or the dual in Arabic. For antum, we add the prefix ta and we add the suffix una. And for antunna, we add the prefix ta and we add the suffix na, just na. And the letter before will carry sukun. We'll talk about that. If you notice, all the second person pronoun, their prefix is ta. And that's what's differentiated them from the third person pronoun, as you are going to see now. So anti, ta, ina, antuma, ta, ani, antum, ta, una, antunna, ta, anna. Now for the third person pronoun, first we have huwa. For huwa, we add the prefix ya and has no suffix. For huma masculine, so huna for masculine and huma for feminine. We need to distinguish these two pronouns, huma for male or huma for female. So huma for male, we add ya and we add alif wa noon as a suffix. Huma yani. For huna for hum, and then huma, this huma is for feminine, and hum, this is for plural masculine. We add ya and we add waw wa noon. For three and more masculine, for ya, we add and here has no suffix. And then huma feminine has ta and has alif wa noon. So huma male has ya as a prefix, huma female has ta as a prefix. And then hunna has ya as a prefix and has na as a suffix. So these are prefixes and the suffixes for all the pronouns. The only way to learn them is just to study them. You need to remember what prefix goes with what pronoun, and that comes with practice. Okay, so let's see how we are actually going to put that in action, how we can actually make the verb. By the way, this is only for studying, learning reasons. Native speakers of Arabic, they don't say, they don't learn this way. They just learn how to use the verb in natural conversation. Now we are showing you how to conjugate the verb in order to use the verbs correctly for the right subject in natural conversation. Okay, so let's start with form 1, 3 root letters, healthy verb. So I'm going to start with verb kataba. Kataba, it's verb to write. And the kaf is the first root, itta is the second root, and ilba is the third root. So now we are going to bring the base verb and then add these prefixes and suffixes to turn the verb into the present tense to a specific a doer or the specific subject. We also do some changes on the short vowels on the roots. So for example, we are going to take kataba. So for example, if I want to convert kataba to I'll add hamza. Okay, and then I have the first root. The first root is the kaf, right? And then the ta is the second root, and then the ba is the third root. So what changes I need to make on the 3 root verb also to make it sounds correctly when I pronounce it in the present tense? You change, so this is the first root, the ta is the second root, il ba is the third root. Okay? So what do I need to do? The short vowel on the first root, I'm going to switch it to sukun. Always. You always change the short vowel on the first root to sukun when you add the prefix in the present tense. The third root, it's fatha. You always switch the fatha to damme if the verb has no suffix. If the verb with no suffix, and then we will talk about with which pronoun the verb doesn't need a suffix. So again, with kataba, we always change the short vowel on the first root to sukoon. We always change the short vowel on the third root to damme. Now we are left out with the middle, the second root. What we are going to do with the second root, there is actually no specific rules. How do we change the short vowel on the second root? The only way for you to know how do we switch the short vowel on the second root is to use Arabic dictionary. Take the verb, copy the verb, find any like a digital dictionary, paste the verb there, and click on search. The dictionary will show you all the use of the verb kataba, and will also show you the present tense, the command, the verbal noun, everything. So you will know. That's the only reason. Otherwise, learning how to switch, what to switch on the second root, that comes with practice. So in kataba case, I'm going to switch the fatha to damme. How do I know? Because I am a teacher, I am a native speaker, I have been teaching this for a while. Everybody learned verb kataba. Over time, we'll learn how to switch the fatha to damme naturally and to conjugate the verb into the present tense. So ana aktubu. For nahnu, I'm going to add for damme on the second root, and then we add aktubu, nahnu naktubu. Now for anta, we are going to do the same things. We just change prefixes. We add ta, and then we add the first root, the second root, and the third root. Again, remember, we add sukoon on the first root, we add damme on the second root with this example, and we add damme on the third root. So ana aktubu, so kataba became aktubu, ana aktubu, nahnu naktubu, anta taktubu. Nahnu, okay. So for nahnu, we just add the prefix, and so the prefix for nahnu is noon. We just add the noon. The same things we did with ana, we do with all of them. We bring the first root, sukoon on the first root, damme on the second root, damme on the third root. Nahnu naktubu, naktubu. Now for anta, we are going to switch the prefix because the prefix refers to a different subject. So we remove noon, we add ta to make the verb refers to anta, and then we do the same things with the rest of the root. Sukoon on the first root, damme on the second root, damme on the third root. Nahnu naktubu, naktubu. Placing the sukoon on the first root, it just eases the pronunciation. It helps you for the pronunciation. It does not change the meaning of the verb. The only point of changing those short vowels is just to make the pronunciation easier and easy for the listener to understand the meaning of the verb or the verb you are trying to use. Okay? So ana aktubu. Are we good? T. Paula, are you still? Okay, so for anti, we add the prefix ta, and then I'm going to add the first root, the second root, the third root, sukoon on the first root, damme on the second root, and then I have the ba. Here I don't have to place damme on the third root. Why? Because I have the suffix anti taktubina, and the sound of the damme doesn't go with the sound of the ya. The ya, it's a vowel. It's a long vowel. The damme is a short vowel. Long vowels are stronger than the short vowels. That's why they take over when they come in a close place or close contact together. So anti taktubina, anti taktubina. For antuma, we are going to do the same thing. We add the prefix ta. We have the first root, the second root, and the third root. Sukoon on the first root, damme on the second root, and I don't need anything because of the suffix. We only place the dhamma on the third root if the verb doesn't have أنتما تكتباني. Some people they say تكتبان, some people they say تكتباني. It doesn't matter actually, تكتبان or تكتباني. So for أنتم, you add the prefix ta, and you add bring the root, the kaf, the ta, and the ba, sukun, damme, and you just add the suffix أنتم تكتبون. أنتم تكتبون. Some people they say تكتبون, some people they say تكتبون. The ending actually doesn't really matter. For أنتن, you add the prefix, and then you have the first root, the second root. تكتبن. Here, whenever you add or attach the verb to أنتن suffix, the noon, you always place sukun on the last root. That comes with it. So أنتن تكتبن, أنت تكتبين, أنتما تكتبان, أنتم تكتبون or تكتبون, أنتن تكتبن. تكتبن. Okay? Now, to move to the third person pronoun, same things we did with the first person pronoun, we did with the second, we will do with the third person pronoun. So for huwa, we just bring the root, first root, we add sukun on the first root, in this case, second root, and then again, remember, whenever there is no suffix, we place dhamme on the end. Huwa yaktubu. Huwa yaktubu. Now, the next one, we have huma, which is two for male. Huma yani, we add the ya for huma, and then we add the root, the kaf, the ta, and the ba. And then we add the suffix, the alif wa nun. Huma yaktubani. For hum, we do the same things. We add the prefix ya, and then we add the first root, the second root, and the third root, and then we add the suffix. Hum yaktubuna or hum yaktubun, doesn't really matter. That's for male, third person for male. Huwa yaktubu, huma yaktuban or yaktubani, hum yaktubuna or yaktubun. For the third person pronoun for female, we have hiya. For hiya, we have the prefix ta, and then we add the root, hiya taktubu. Hiya taktubu. We added dhamme on the third root because there is no suffix. Hiya taktubu. Huma, for feminine, huma taktuban. Or huma taktubani. And then for hunna, the pronoun for more female, we add the prefix ya, and that's the only difference in the third person pronoun for female. Hiya has ta, huma feminine has ta, except which can be confusing sometimes. So you need to pay attention. Ya, and then you add the first letter, the second na, yaktubna. The only one you need to pay attention to is antunna and hunna, to place the sukun on the third root to make your pronunciation accurate. And this is actually how we make the present, the base verb kataba. This is how we conjugated the base verb kataba to the present tense with all the pronouns in Arabic language. These are the same, always, regardless of the verb, the form of the verb, weak verb, healthy verb. These are always stay the same. And the changes I told you about the first root and the third root, it's always the same. The only problematic one is the second, the middle one. How do I know what to add on the second one? That comes with a practice. So, أنا أكتب, نحن نكتب, أنت تكتب, أنت تكتبين, أنتما تكتبان, أنتم تكتبون، أنتن تكتبن، هو يكتب، هما يكتبان، هم يكتبون، هي تكتب، هما تكتبان، هن يكتبن. Any question so far? Okay. Any question? So in the PDF, I'm going to attach in the description of this video. Okay, I will read it again. In the PDFs, I will share with you some activities where you can conjugate. I will give you like a practice sheet. You can conjugate all the verbs and send them back to me. Put them on the comment section. I will get your answers and send it back, since I have not been lucky to set up this video as the way I wanted. Okay. So kataba for ana, ana aktubu, which means I write or I am writing. Aktubu ala lawh, I'm writing on the board, or I write on the board. Ana aktubu. Nahnu naktubu. We are writing or we write. نحن نكتب. نكتب على اللوح. تكتب. تكتب. You are singular male, right? Or you are writing. أنت تكتب على اللوح. You are writing on the board, أحمد. أنت تكتبين. أنت تكتبين. You are feminine writing. أنت تكتبين على اللوح. أنتما تكتبان. You are two. Yeah, I'm sorry. أنتما تكتبان. أنتما تكتبان. You are two male writing, or you are two female writing. How do I know? How do I differentiate if the verb refers to male or female? It's from the context, from the sentence. If I say يا أحمد وخالد أنتما تكتبان, or هل تكتبان يا أحمد وخالد. So here from the context, Ahmad and Khalid refers to male, so هنا the verb refers to two masculine. But if I say هل تكتبان يا ميسون وباولا, so هنا from the context I know Paula, Maysoon words refers to a female names, so here تكتبان refers to a female. Otherwise, from the verb itself, you cannot differentiate if it refers to male or to female, only from the context. أنتم تكتبون. أنتم three and more writing. وأنتن تكتبن. You more يا طالبات. أنتن تكتبن. You female students, you write or you are writing. هو يكتب. He writes or he is writing. هو يكتب. هما يكتبان. They are two write or they are two writing. وهم يكتبون. الطلاب يكتبون. هم يكتبون. The students write or the students are writing. هي تكتب. هي تكتب. She writes. Paula تكتب. Paula writes or Paula is writing. هما تكتبان. Paula وميسون تكتبان. And they write or they are writing. وهن يكتبن. الطالبات, the female students write or the female students are writing. Good? You guys have any question before I give a different example? Okay, so all healthy verbs, what means all the base letters are consonants. A healthy verb, all the base letters are consonant. I'm sure you guys know the difference between consonants and vowels. Weak verb, one of the base letter is vowel. Could be alif or waw or ya. So all form one verbs, all healthy verbs form one. The verbs that all their base letters are consonants are conjugated the same way. Okay? So now I'm going to show you how to conjugate in Arabic assimilated verb. What do I mean by assimilated verb? Assimilated verb is the weak verb. It's a weak verb, and its first root letter is a vowel. Okay? So I'm going to erase this side. Okay, so one of the weak verbs, the assimilated verb, is verb, for example, verb waqafa. 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 Waqafa, it's verb to stop or verb to stand. Okay? What are considered to be a weak verb? Why? Because the first root letter is a vowel. Al-waw is a vowel in Arabic. Okay, so how do we deal with that? How do we conjugate assimilated verb or weak verb in the present tense? There is something very important to remember. Adding any of the prefixes or suffixes to the verb, that or major change you need to do on the verb. The waw, the vowel, as if it's not exist at all. So any verb in Arabic begins with waw, form one, begins with a vowel, whether waw or ya. There are very few verbs begins with ya. They are not very common. The common one is the one has the waw as a first vowel. So whenever you see a weak verb, three root verb, the first root is a vowel. Before you conjugate the verb to the present tense, you must delete the waw, as if it's not exist. And then the verb is ready for conjugation. Okay? So waqafa, verb to stand or to stop. How do I conjugate that? First I deleted the waw, and now I have the qaf and the fa. So first thing I will do, that I will add the prefix for ana. I will add the hamza. The waw is gone, so I will bring the qaf and the fa. Remember what I told you, what do we add on the third root? Always we add dhammeh on the third root for the verb with no suffix. Now we are left with the qaf. What short vowel we need to add on the waw? Because al waw is the first root, al qaf is the second root. Remember, that's the one has some problems, doesn't have a clear rules. What do we add on it? So for waqafa case, ana aqifu. You place the fatha to kasra on verb. Aqifu. Next, and then we have on the qaf, we add dhammeh on نحن نقف. أنا أقف. نقف. For أنت, we add the ta as a prefix, and then we have the second root and the third root. نحن نقف. أنا أقف. نحن نقف. أنت تقف. For أنت, أنت تقفين. وأنتما for male, the prefix, the second root, the third root, and then the suffix. أنتما تقفان. وأنتم تقفون. وأنتن تقفن. أنتن تقفن. أنتن تقفن. The PDFs I'm going to share in the description box. They will be very useful to understand all of that after a session. أنتن تقفن هو, we add the prefix يا. I'll come back and read all of them. هو يقف, هما for male, هما يقفان, وهم يقفون for هي, هي تقف, وهما feminine, تقفان, وهن يقفن, هن يقفن. Yeah. I don't like this one. هن يقفن. So I will read them. So again, وقف in Arabic is a assimilated verb. What assimilated verb means is the verb, its base first root letter is a vowel. What do we do? How do we conjugate assimilated verb to the present tense or in the present tense? First thing we do, we eliminate the vowel. We take the vowel out before we do anything. So for وقف, we took out the wow. So أنا أقف, we put kasra on the second root and then damme on the third root for the verbs with no suffix. أنا أقف, أنا أقف بجانب اللوح. I'm standing next to the board, or I stand next to the board. أنا أقف, نحن نقف, أنت تقف, أنت تقفين, أنتما تقفان, أنتم تقفون, أنتن تقفن, تقفن, تقفن بجانبي. By the way, it can also have a different meaning when we say هو يقف بجانبي, means he supports me. Okay, sure, I will read them again. أنا أقف, أقف, نحن نقف, نقف, أنت تقف, تقف, أنت تقفين, تقفين, أنتما تقفان, تقفان, أنتم تقفون, تقفون, تقفن, يقف, هو يقف, هما يقفان, يقفان, هم يقفون, يقفون, هي تقف, هي تقف, هما تقفان, تقفان, هن يقفن, هن يقفن. Good? So This is an example of form 1, we assimilated verb. Now let's see how do we conjugate hollow verbs. Hollow verbs. What do I mean by hollow verbs? Hollow verbs is the verb that its second root is a vowel. Hollow verb, the verb has its second is a vowel, and there is a lot. There are a lot of verbs in Arabic present this example, the hollow verb. So I'm not going to delete waqafa. I'm going to keep it, make a comparison. So this is for assimilated verb. First root is a vowel. Okay, so now we are going to see an example of hollow verb. And the hollow verb is the verb has its second root is a vowel. The second root is a vowel. And as I just mentioned, there are many examples. Which one you lost? Hum. Okay. Hum yaqifuna. Okay, هم يقفون. هي تقف. هما تقفان for feminine. وهن يقفن. Okay, so Paula, write in the chat when you are ready for me to move on, to make sure we are on the same page. Okay, good. So now we are going to move to the second type of weak verbs. This is the first type. The one starts with the vowel. Now we have another type or a second type. And the second type is when the second letter, the second root is a vowel. And it could be, okay. And then the second root, when the second root is a vowel, and the vowel is could be alif or waw or ya. Okay, so one of the examples I'm going to use, which I have to show you 3 different examples. So the infinitive form, or what its equivalent to infinitive form in Arabic, as I said, is the third person pronoun for he is. So we have, for example, verb nam. Nam, it's sleep. Okay. And we have the visit and Sarah. And Sarah is okay. So in all cases, always, whenever you are given a hollow verb or present to you a hollow verb, you will see the base verb or the base form, always the alif is in the middle. But this is not actually the real sound of the vowel. So you will see Nama, you will see Zara, for example, Sarah. Okay, Nama has alif in the middle, Zara has alif in the middle, Sarah has alif in the middle. But the alif originally in each one of these examples is different. Okay, so the question, how I'm going to know what is the original sound of the alif? Again, the only solution if you are writing a paper or doing a homework and you don't know what is the original sound of the vowel is to use dictionary. Put the base form in the dictionary and click on search. The dictionary will tell you what is the original sound of the alif if you are not given by your teacher or the instructor. So in Nama case, الألف in the middle in Arabic. This is very important. الألف in the middle. الألف in the middle. In many cases, الألف turns to واو. يعني الألف originally is واو. Or الألف turns to يا. Or الألف originally is يا. I think this marker is not working well. So whenever you see الألف, like in verb nama, or verb zara, or verb sara, الألف has three options. Either الألف is going to turn to واو, or الألف is going to turn to يا, or الألف is going to remain ألف. So you have to be open to all these options. Whenever you see ألف in the middle, you have to واو, this is يا, or the ألف remains ألف. Okay? How do you know if you are not having the original sound of the alif by the instructor or you sit actually in the text is the dictionary. Okay? So in Nama case, actually, الألف remains alif. And I'm going to show you. In Zara case, الألف originally is واو. In Sara case, الألف originally is ya. So whenever we do the present tense for a whole verb, we have to turn the alif to the original sound before we do anything. What is the original sound of the alif? For example, if you have nama, before you start adding prefixes and suffixes, you need to know what is the, let's see, conjugating these three verbs into the present tense. Okay? So I'm going to clear the board to give me some space so I can use to write. Okay, so I'm going to start with a verb zara. Let's start with verb nama. Let's start with the case alif remains alif. Nama case alif is going to stay alif. Okay, if alif stays alif, that's very easy. There is nothing I need to do. It just add the prefixes and the suffixes to the verb. So in nama case, I need the hamza. For ana, I add the hamza, and then I have the first root, the second root, and the third root. Ana anamu. Ana anamu, I sleep or I am sleeping. There is nothing you need to do on the first root. Why? Because it's followed by the vowel. There is no short vowels, nothing. Why? Because the alif, it's long vowel. The alif is stronger than the short vowels or sukun or whatever. So أنا أنام, نحن, you add the noon, نحن ننام, نحن ننام. Now, some people sometimes what they do, they double the two noon. I see my students sometimes write the noon with shadda. This is a big mistake. In Arabic, we cannot use the shadda in the beginning. We cannot double consonants in the beginning of any word in Arabic language. So for nahnu, you have to rewrite the noon twice. Do not double it with shadda because we cannot. It's against the language rules to double consonants in the beginning of any word in Arabic language. So nahnu nanamu. Anta, you will add the prefix ta. So anta tanamu. Anti, you add the prefix ta. Anti tanamina. Anti tanamina. Antuma. تنامان or تنامان أنتم تنامون تنمنا. Here with أنتن, here we get rid of the vowel. We delete the vowel with أنتن. So in the PDF, I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share all the rules, summary of all the rules. I'm sorry for the connection. I'm trying to, I'm actually connecting from the office. I will hopefully be able to post it later so you can also watch it again if you want. I said in the PDF, I'm going to share with you later. I'm going to have a summary of all the rules. You can read and match them with your comments from the class. Okay? So antunna, tanamna. So with antunna, we get rid of the alif. We deleted the alif. So you have to remember, if the verb, whole of verb, if the verb has a vowel in the middle, we delete the vowel with antunna so far. So you have to remember, we turn the alif to the original sound, and in Nama case, el alif remains alif. We keep it with the first person pronoun. We keep it in the second person pronoun, except antunna, we delete it. We take the alif out. Now to move to the third person pronoun, huwa, yanamu, huma, two male, huma, yanamani, وهم ينامون وهي تنام وهما feminine تنامان وهن ينمن. So also with hunna, we delete the alif. So if the verb is a hollow verb, you return the alif or you turn the alif to the original sound. In Nama case, alif actually in the present tense remains alif. So we keep the alif with the first person pronoun, second person pronoun, except antunna. We delete the vowel with antunna. We bring the alif back with all the third person pronoun except hunna. We delete the vowel with hunna. So you can, if you want to write the rules down, if the verb, hollow verb, we turn the alif to the original sound. We keep it with all the pronoun except antunna and hunna. We delete the vowel. Okay? That's in Nama case. So that's for Nama. I'm going to show you another example with Zara when the alif turned to wow. And again, you can work with me. Like I could be writing on the board and try also to work on the worksheet on a piece of paper with me and then match your answers with me. That would be very helpful. The more you practice, use your hand to write, the better. You remember it better. Okay? So I'm going to delete and then have here now Nama. It's the first example of a hollow verb. Again, hollow verb is the verb has its second root as a vowel. Okay, so we did nama, verb nama, verb to sleep. I'm going to use to do now verb zara. Zara. Okay, I want to use the board. Verb zara. Zara, al-alif is the vowel. As I just told you, in Zara case, al-alif originally is wow. Zara, azuru. The original sound of the alif is wow, and the main form is zawara. How do I know that? After the class, put the verb in the dictionary, and the dictionary will show you Zara turns to zawara. So al-alif originally is wow. So now we learned the original sound of the alif is wow. Now the verb is ready to start conjugating. So for Zara, I will add the prefix. So this is the hamza, and this is the first root, the second root, and the third root. And azuru, we just turned the alif to the original sound. Zara, azuru. Nahnu, same thing, nahnu. Nazuru, ana azuru. Nahnu nazuru. And verb zara, it's verb visit. Ana azuru, I visit or I am visiting. Ana azuru al-Urdun, I visit Jordan or I am visiting Jordan currently. Azuru. Nahnu nazuru. Anta, you add the prefix ta. Anta. Anta tazuru. Anta. Anti tazurina. Anti tazurina. Antuma. أنتما تزوران or تزوران. أنتم تزورون or تزورون. أنا أزور. نحن نزور. أنت تزور. أنتما أنت تزورين. أنتما تزوران. أنتم تزورون. أنتن. Remember, أنتن. You drop the vowel. You delete the vowel. أنتن تزرن. أنتن تزرن. And if you notice, أنتن تزرن, after we deleted the wow, we placed a short vowel from the same sound of the long vowel on the first root. What do I mean by that? So the verb zawara, what we did, we deleted the wow with antunna, but we also added dhammi on the zai instead to refer to the deleted long vowel. So antunna tazurna. Tazurna. Antunna tazurna. هو يزوران or يزوراني, and هم يزورون. هي تزور. هي تزور. وهما feminine تزوران. Then remember, with hunna, what we did with antunna, we are going to do with hunna. We are going to eliminate the waw. So hunna, ya. This is the zai. We are dhammi on the zai to refer to the deleted vowel. Hunna yazur na. Hunna yazur na. So I will read it again. For Zara, the original sound of the alif is waw. So we turn the alif to waw before we conjugate the verb. And then we start adding the prefixes and the suffixes. So for ana azuru, nahnu nazuru, anta tazuru, anti tazurina, antuma tazuran, antum tazuruna or tazurun, antunna tazurna, tazurna, huwa yazuru, huma yazuran, hum yazuruna, hiya tazuru, huma tazuran or tazurani, وهن يزرن يزرن. Okay, so Nama is an example of alif remains alif. Zara is an example of the alif turns to waw. Let's do an example when the alif turns to ya. Same thing. You just turn the alif to ya. You do the same procedures, the same steps. And what you add, when you delete the vowel, you deleted whether the alif is wa alif or waw or ya. So I want to do verb Sarah, and since this board is small, I'm going to delete Nama and write Sarah. And write Sarah instead in the place of verb Sarah. It's verb to walk. Sarah ila al-jami'a. Okay, and the alif in the middle, it's originally ya. So the original form of the verb is actually sayara. Sayara. So alif originally in Sarah case is ya. So once I know the original sound of the alif, my verb is ready to start conjugating. Okay? So for Sarah, again we add the prefix. So Sarah, أنا أسير. أنا أسير. I'm walking. أسير. نحن تسيرين. أنت تسيرين. Same steps. I just keep adding the same prefixes and suffixes. أنا أسير. نحن نسير. أنت تسير. أنت تسيرين. أنتما تسيران. Just add the one rule. تسيران or تسيران. أنتم تسيرون. أنتم تسيرون. أنتن. Remember, what do we do with أنتن? We eliminate the vowel. That means we have to take the ya out. But if we want to delete the ya, we take the short vowel we are going to place on the first root to be equivalent to the deleted long vowel. Right? It's kasra. So أنتن, since ya, أنتن كسرة. أنتن تسرن. أنتن تسرن إلى الجامعة. You walk to the school. You are walking to the school. أنتن تسرن هو يسير. هما for to male. هما يسيران or يسيران. وهم يسيرون. هم يسيرون. Now for هي, the prefix تا, هي تسير. هما feminine تسيران. هما تسيران. وهن, what we did with أنتن, we are going to do with هن. So أنتن تسرن, هن يسرن. We delete the word. هن يسرن. هن يسرن. So we did examples for all the hollow verbs with the three different long vowels. Alif, the waw, and the ya. أنا أسير. نحن نسير. أنت تسير. أنت تسيرين. أنتما تسيران. أنتم تسيرون. أنتن تسرن. هو يسير. هما يسيران. هم يسيرون. هي تسير. ما يسيران. هن يسرن. How we use in the present. So last thing I want to talk about is the defective verb. I'm going to show two examples of the defective verbs, and then we are going to end the session for today. Okay? So now I'm going to clean the board, the section about the conjugation for the hollow verb, and then move to the last type. And again, what we applied on Form 1 applies on all the forms except the one begins with Hamza. Hopefully, I will be able to do another session more prepared, more organized than this lesson. And then I will go over, review this, and go over the other forms, the one with the three letters or more than three letters begin with Hamza. Okay, the last type of verbs in Arabic language is the defective verbs. Defective verbs, the verb, its third root is a vowel, means the vowel is in the end, is the last letter. For example, like verb baka, baka, verb to cry, baka, or verb da'a, verb da'a, like verb to pray or verb to invite. Okay, da'a. So defective verb is much easier than the hollow verb. Why? Because in the hollow verb, there is no way by looking at the verb you could tell what is the original sound of the alif. But if you have a defective verb, it is very easy to tell the original sound of the broken alif. And here is the secret. If the verb ends with broken alif, if the verb ends with broken alif, the broken alif always turns to ya, always. Just by looking at the shape of the alif. You don't need to know the verb. You don't need to know the meaning of the verb. No need for dictionary. Just by looking at the verb. If the verb ends with broken alif, the broken alif always turns to ya. Okay? If the verb ends with long alif, like in verb da'a, you see it's a long alif, the alif always turns to waw. This is very easy and important to remember. If the verb, the defective verb, which in Arabic is called fi'l naqis, if the defective verb ends with a broken alif, the broken alif always turns to ya. If the defective verb or fi'l naqis ends with long alif, the long alif always turns to waw. We solved half of the problem. Now, after we know the original sound of the vowel, now we are ready to conjugate. So we're going to conjugate both verbs. The one ends with broken alif and the one ends with long alif. Okay? So I'm going to start with verb baka. And baka, as I said, it's verb to cry. And verb da'a, verb to pray or to invite. Okay? So in verb baka, we just said the original sound of the alif is ya. So we are going to turn the broken alif to ya. And in da'a, the original sound of the alif is wa. Okay? But I need attention here for what do we do actually with the alif. There are a few important changes we do as we conjugate the verb into the different subjects. So for ana, we add the prefix. So baka, ana, you add the hamza. Ana abki. Ana abki. We back to the sukun on the second root. Ana abki. We turn the broken alif to ya. أنا أبكي. نحن نبكي. نحن نبكي. أنت تبكي. أنا أبكي. نحن نبكي. أنت تبكي. Very simple. Now, with anti, I want you guys to pay attention. With anti, we add the prefix ta, right? And this is the first root. This is the second. And I'm going to write the third root in different color. And then I have the suffix, right? تبكيين, تبكيين. That doesn't work. So I have the verb ends with ya, and then also the suffix. One of the suffixes. Them both? No, you don't have to keep them both. What do you need to do? You need to get rid of the root and keep the suffix. You would ask, why do I need to delete the root and keep the suffix? Because the suffix refers to the subject. The suffix in this case is more important than the root. So you have to keep the suffix because the suffix refers to anti, but by deleting the suffix will no longer refers to anti. So anti, now I only have one ya. So anti, anti tabkina. And this is the ya in the suffix. The vowel in the verb is gone. We get rid of it. Anti tabkina. Okay? Antuma, you add the prefix. Antuma tabkiyan or tabkiyani. أنتما تبكيان. Now let's do with أنتم. We have the prefix. We have the first, the second. I'm going to write the third root with a different color. And then you have the suffix una, right? So here you have two vowels. You have the ya is a vowel. You have the wa with the vowel. What are you going to do? Are you going to say tabkiyuna? No, don't say that. So in Arabic, the vowels in Arabic are organized by their strength. Okay? So the stronger. So the waw and the ya are of course stronger than the alif. But again, here, which one I need to keep refer to the subject? The one I'm conjugating the verb to, I need the suffix. The suffix here is more important than the vowel itself. Why? Because the suffix is the listener, the reader will understand who is the subject. So then I have to sacrifice the vowel and keep the suffix. So أنتم تبكون. أنتم تبكون. This has to be in color because this is the suffix. أنتم تبكون. أنتن أنتن تبكين. أنتن تبكين. Okay? هو يبكي. هما يبكيان. And what we did with أنتم, we are going to do with home. So you have the prefix. And then I'm going to have, that's the third root, and that's the suffix. Again, the suffix is more important than the vowel. So we get rid of the vowel and we keep the suffix. So hum yabkuna. Hum yabkuna. هي تبكي. هما يبكيان. وهن يبكين. The pronunciation might be difficult at first, but then the more you read it, the more you practice it, it gets easier. أنا أبكي. نحن نبكي. أنت تبكي. أنت تبكين. Remember, we sacrifice the vowel, we keep the suffix. أنت تبكين. أنتما تبكيان. أنتم تبكون. We have ya and wow. We keep the wow because the wow is the subject. We sacrifice the vowel. أنتم تبكون. أنتن تبكين. هو يبكي. هما يبكيان. هم يبكون. We also sacrifice the vowel to keep the suffix. هي تبكي. هما تبكيان. I apologize. هما تبكيان for feminine. وهن يبكين. هن يبكين. Okay. So I think I could end here today the session. And hopefully I will be able to post it and have another session soon. Do you have any questions for me? Guys, do you have any questions for me? Any questions for me? Paula, you still there?